The NASCAR Cup Series regular season is coming to a close this weekend at the Darlington Raceway, and there are only 3 open spots left out of the 16 total drivers that will fight for a chance at the championship in Phoenix. After Harrison Burton's shocking win at Daytona, it has completely flipped the playoff cut line on its head, and as of the time of recording this, Buescher is now the last driver in on points. However, there's also another battle taking place for the regular season championship, which awards the overall points leader at the end of Darlington an extra 15 playoff points, which are crucial for transferring through each round of the playoffs until the championship 4 round at Phoenix Raceway. That battle is between Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson, who are all separated by only 18 points. These 3 are considered to be the overall championship favorites. However, I feel like people are sleeping on the guy currently 5th in overall points. He's already won 3 races this season and accumulated the 2nd most amount of playoff points of everybody, that being Christopher Bell. Although his season this year has been inconsistent, he has proven to shine when it matters most during the playoffs. So in this video, I will go through each round and race during the playoffs to explain why I believe Christopher Bell should be the ideal pick for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. So let's get into it. So to begin, I'll just say that I don't think the playoff standings will change after this weekend at Darlington. I believe that there will be no new winner, and the points difference between Buescher and Bubba is large enough to lock Buescher as the 16th driver in the playoffs. Of course, he could have an issue during the race that takes him out, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, the first 3 races of the playoffs are at Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol. Atlanta is a wild card race since it's a super speedway-esque track, so any of the 16 drivers contending for the title can theoretically win the race. As we've been seeing already this season, Bell has actually proven his case of being a really good super speedway racer, as long as he's not causing the big one, of course. Watkins Glen should be more than likely be another great result for Bell, as he finished 3rd at the track last year, and earlier this year, he was running down William Byron in the closing laps at Coda, and may have won if there were a few more laps left. The round of 16 ends at Bristol, and if it's anything like the chaotic race we saw earlier this year, then it could be another wild card race. But the Toyotas, especially the Joe Gibbs racing cars, were easily the best in the field all day long in the spring. It's also worth noting that last year at the Bristol night race, it was Christopher Bell who set down the fastest lap and took pole position, so maybe consider him as a potential favorite for that weekend's race. Considering the tracks available in this round and the fact that he has a 20-point gap to the cutoff line at the beginning of the playoffs, Bell should easily make it out of this round, as long as he doesn't get involved in a wreck at each of these races. After the round of 16, this is where Bell really begins to shine. The round of 12 begins with Kansas, a track where Toyota have been extremely good at since the next-gen era began, winning all but 1 race since 2022, which possibly would have been won by Denny Hamlin if a caution didn't come out for Kyle Busch. If you've ever watched the races at Kansas since the next-gen era began, as the race goes on, the dominant line at Kansas is the high line right against the wall. With the dirt experience that Bell has, it's right up his alley for a solid run, if not a win. And to add to that, he finished 6th earlier this year during the spring, so consider him as another possible favorite for the win. After that, the Cup Series heads to Talladega, which is yet another wild card race, as anything could happen in the blink of an eye that can ruin a playoffs driver's chance at making it to the next round. As I've already mentioned, when Bell is not involved in an incident, he has run very well at the drafting tracks, with him actually picking up a 3rd place finish this past weekend at Daytona. Make it past this race and the Charlotte Roval is the final race of the round of 12, which Bell has previously won in 2022, so don't count him out of being a serious contender for the win. After the round of 12, we then move on to the round of 8, which I believe will easily be the strongest round for Bell, as Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville are all tracks that he has had incredible runs at previously. Las Vegas is the opening race of the round of 8, and last year he finished 2nd at Vegas in an extremely close photo finish between himself and Kyle Larson, and more than likely would have won if there was 1 more lap. He then responded the next week at Homestead by dominating the last portion of the race and winning his way into the championship 4. Finally, he also won at Martinsville in 2022, which also was a walk-off win to lock himself into the championship 4. If Bell were to make it to Phoenix, I believe that he will easily win the title, as he won at Phoenix earlier this year in the spring by over 5 seconds on Buescher. Bell has also had strong runs in the 2022 and 23 renditions of the race, which he might have won the 2022 championship if his pit crew didn't make a mistake on the final pit stop. If the Toyotas bring the same speed that we saw in the spring rendition of the race, then I believe we could see a new champion crowned in the form of Christopher Bell, as long as his brakes don't explode again. Who do you think will win the title? Leave a comment down below on who you think will be this year's NASCAR Cup Series champion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.